The Flash number 47, part 1 of Flash War.
Finally. We've been waiting for this for so long.
I know, it is time, and I don't think it disappointed. I think it's hitting all the
Nope.
notes that I wanted to hit. Um,
Yep.
I will say, Williamson did say this week, actually, and I think that's just worth mentioning, because obviously this is teasing a lot of big things, especially at the end of this issue. Williamson did say this is actually just the start of like a 2-year plan for not only Flash, but things that are going to like be affected by this. And
He's going for 100.
he is going for 100. Like Tom King, he's going for it. And he was saying that not everything that's teased isn't going to be resolved or dealt with by the end of Flash War. That is not even going to be close to what's happening.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. But he said that everything that's brought up is going to be addressed somewhere along the way.
I feel like he's talking to me because how much I complained about the lack of certain characters.
Yeah.
And he keeps teasing them, and I keep getting my hopes up.
Because every so often I'll see someone say, "Oh, this better have happened by the end of Flash War. This character better be back." I'm like, I don't think it's going to be back by the end of Flash War, but
no,
we're getting there.
Just like with Wally, they've slowly introduced him back, and it all makes sense because there's a line of dialogue from the Renegades when it comes to Wally, and it all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel like he's... And also, I've been rereading the Johns run. I just finished the big, thick book one of his that ends with Iron Heights. And you could tell that Williamson had read that entire run before starting because there's a lot of similarities with the tone and even some of the...
And Howard Porter on the art.
Arcs.
Howard Porter on the art. He did some of the art in that run. So.
Yep. So, still not Scott Collins. I think he's still my favorite Flash artist.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting, and I think we start with a little sort of glimpse of the future where Barry and Wally are at each other's throats, and it seems like Wally wants to Flashpoint to try and save his kids, seemingly, and Barry's like, "Hey, Wally, seriously, last time I did that, I created the goddamn New 52. You don't want to do that, buddy. You really don't want to do
that, dude."
I love how it was only 47 minutes 18 seconds
later. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it's not. Well, we've got time travel involved, so that's probably why.
Yeah, but it plays like it's like 2 weeks later is the usual sort of thing I'd expect from that. But it's like 47 minutes earlier.
Yeah, it's the Flash.
Yeah,
exactly.
So we see that Barry and Wally are already kind of having like a clash of styles. Like Wally's not necessarily following Barry's plans. There's still Kevin in a good place, but there's this kind of like just work issues kind of bubbling underneath. With them, because they were handling the tidal wave differently and stuff, and they handle it very differently when they did the Renegade shop. Although before we get to that, Wally does have we find out later it's called a time seizure, right? That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Where we see the '90s Grant Morrison Justice League. Kyle's in his glorious crab mask and all its beautiful greenness.
I do not understand your affection for that stupid mask.
That crab mask is terrible. I hate it.
Freaking best.
Plus the "You're no Barry Allen" line from that, which I feel I just read in that arc. So there's all that stuff, but the time seizure, it all makes sense because he's displaced. What has gone on in the time stream that we have this future where things should happen, but they're not.
It's fantastic. So the Renegade Shop, the 25th Century Reverse Flash Task Force, is the page.
That is a mouthful. I'm glad we've got the Renegades to cut all of the show.
Yeah, so we got Commander Cold, we got Golden Guardian, we got Weather Warlock, Heatstroke, and Mirror Monarch II, which
I love the two.
I'm glad they're all there in this page for me because obviously I remember Commander Cold. Well, that was a weird slip, but. The rest of them, like, okay, I know there's a golden one, I know there's a weather one, I know there's a heat one.
Well, they're just the rogues with, I would say, more heroic sounding names.
Sure. What I'm saying is that as I was reading this later and I got past this, or earlier when I got this past, I'm not time traveling, I promise. When I got past this page, like I kept trying to think, okay, what was that version of that name again that they're using? Because it's so similar to one that I know.
You are just thinking, oh, that's cold, right? That's the heat one.
That's Weather Wizard, but it's not Wizard, it's Warlock. But so Wally's basically, no, screw this, I'm taking it, because they want Iris to answer for her crimes of killing Thawne.
Yeah, well, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
She did, and it also goes back to how Wally and Barry have dealt with the rogues, is in Johns's, Wally brings up that Barry kind of ended up making friends with them. Like they had this
quite a lot.
What's that?
He really tolerates them, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And he's just kind of like, I'm different. These are bad guys. I don't have that connection, and I'll take Snart down. I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. And that's exactly what Wally does here, going like, no, they're just like rogues. I'm not trusting them. They're from the future. Who knows who they are?
Yeah.
Whereas Barry's like, well, let's wait and see. And it's very Barry and Wally and their differences as Flash.
Yeah, and Wally just grabs Iris and bolts. He's like, you know what, I'm not losing you again. And Iris is like, no, Wally, we don't run from things. And I'm like, Iris, your entire family are Flashes. Listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. The words that are coming out of your mouth. And I know what she means. I'm joking, right?
I think the point is she says we don't run from a fight. Flashes run towards the fight.
Which is fine. I'm cracking my joke because it really made me laugh. I'm like, come on.
But then Golden Guardian, right?
Yeah.
She's got a Sinestro ring.
Yeah. I got to the bottom of that page and she's like, and blackest day and brightest night. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I turned the page and I'm like, shit!
Yeah.
She's got the Daniel West Reverse Flash. She's got Thawne. She's got
Zoom.
Zoom too.
She's got all three of the Reverse Flashes essentially.
I love how that because obviously she's a yellow lantern, but obviously a Reverse Flash is the yellow color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just works.
That's neat, but quite rightly they point out, hey, you're supposed to be the good guys, but you're like Yellow Lantern. That makes it kind of hard to trust you.
Yeah.
Because, Sinestro Corps.
I think they're a bit out of touch with what's been going on at the moment, obviously.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Makes sense.
Hal's not filled them in that. Yeah, we kind of had a bit of an alliance with the Yellows, and I think things aren't atrocious.
Fear can be used... fear can be used in an appropriate way. Batman exists, for example.
Right, because the Yellows are in a reasonable place. They don't like the Greens, but they're not evil right now.
Yeah, they're not space terrorists anymore. Like, you don't have Romat Rue. That was his name, right?
Yeah.
That was Zidarian that Tomar killed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like, you don't have them so much anymore in the core. You have these guys that are, like, rugged, like, special forces types now.
Yeah, they're kind of doing the right thing. A bit off the books, but they're not evil.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows what it's like in the 25th century.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is a whole, time period that we don't know about.
They could be the predominant Lantern Corps by that point, for all we know. Yeah, but like in that fight scene, Barry and Wally are still arguing, and he's like, what? Wally tells Barry, what? So I can be like you? And Barry, as a true mentor, goes, no, so you can be better than me. And I just like, oh my god, and then Wally's got to pop off. And Wally's my Flash.
I already am.
Yeah.
Wally's my Flash. He's my favorite Flash by far.
But he's a little bit of a dick in that panel. That comeback's a bit much. And Joe, I love about it though. I love the idea that he's having like time bleeding in from the real timeline, and I'm thinking, he's remembering him being a Flash and actually accomplishing a lot as the Flash. So in a way, he was better than Barry. So he's kind of like it's a place of truth.
He never broke the time stream, and all the time travel he did. He never broke the time stream trying to save his mom.
Also true. So Wally ends up getting another time seizure in the fight, and Commander Cold explains what's happening. He's like, "Hey, Iris, if you come and just answer our questions, we can help him out. We can actually help fix him." So that's interesting. So they kind of agree, and Wally's against it, but he kind of eventually agrees, and we actually get a recreation of the panel from Rebirth #1 where Barry grabs his arm. And okay, you know what? I'll follow you. If you want to do this, okay, fine. I'll trust you. So they all go together. Commander Cold initiates his time device, and they all flash to the future. However, when they arrive in the future in the 25th century at the wherever they go,
temporal courts.
There you go, temporal court. Thank you. Wally's missing. Original Wally's missing, and they're like, hey, where's Wally? And Commander Cold's like, someone pulled him out. Someone locked onto him and pulled him out. Someone was targeting him. And he's like, wait, this was a trap for Wally? And he's kind of pissed. And then we see where Wally went. Wally was, of course, nabbed by Zoom. And he's in the destroyed Flash Museum. He's seeing holograms of various speedsters. Max Mercury, Bart Allen. He sees a picture of him and his wife with his babies. And then the final page, Zoom's like, hey, I'm Hunter Zolman. You can call me Zoom, and I will help you save your children. And behind them, you see the adult costumes for Jai West and Iris West too.
Yeah, the orange and yellow costumes.
Yeah.
So who else?
Here's the thing.
To the end of this.
Zoom helping Wally.
Well, not even just helping Wally, helping him saving his children who he killed. Yeah, he killed them in the womb in Jeff Johns' run.
I assume this is him being dark as shit, save them so that he can take them away again.
Oh, probably.
I don't know. I feel Zoom in this is going to prove that he's the better Reverse Flash, because he's actually going to honor what Thawne was all about at the beginning, making the Flash better.
But then again,
if this means that it's going to take out Barry, he's going to make Flash better or Wally better.
That's it. Though we've heard his intentions. Though he's intended to put them at war. So this could just be to get him to turn on Barry. This might just be the carrot to make him do what he wants.
Yeah, it could
exactly.
Be,
rather than actually wanting to bring the kids back.
Don't also like Jesse Quick was also in the Flash Museum there.
You're right. There's a bust of her.
There's a bust of her, and so just the fact that you kind of get the feeling there's these other speedsters, because we've already seen Jay in the button.
And to be
bust out of the speedsters.
He actually says, Zoom outright says, all the speedsters you knew are all trapped in the Speed Force. They're all in there.
Yeah. So Bart's there, Jay's there, Max is there, the West Twins, you name it. Also, there was a hint of, is there also a villain Kid Flash? And then I thought, oh, this means Inertia's at play then. Because why do you have young Wally bring this up for that? He's a speedster. He's going to be there.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning what Matt's referring to earlier in the book. When he learns about there being multiple Reverse Flashes, he's like, hey, do I have a Reverse Flash too? And obviously when Guardian makes the yellow constructs, they treat it as, oh no, Daniel West is your Reverse Flash.
It's his Reverse Flash.
But it could be a foreshadowing to be, there's going to be an evil Kid Flash at some point.
Yeah, so people that don't know, Inertia was a clone of Bart, except because Bart is half Thawne, half Alan.
Yeah.
Right?
Was that in the Impulse run, or was that in Mark Waid's Flash? What was that?
He started up in Wade's, is when that happened.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a clone. He's also from the future, but he's more Thawne than he is Alan. So he was meant to represent the dark side of that, and he comes to this time to make, to make things worse. He actually ends up killing Bart in Fastest Man Alive, which leads to the Rogue's Revenge, where they killed him. But as we know with the Flash, no one ever really stays dead, right?
Oh, of course,
Force.
Yeah. What's funny, because I just started reading Wade's run. I got to the first proper issue, because the first two issues in the book were like the special, then there was an annual that tied into Armageddon 2001. So they were kind of like, separate things. I just got to the first proper issue, and it's the start of Born to Run, the year one Wally West backstory. And in the middle of the issue, it mentions, and Iris, because he's talking about how good Iris is, and it's like, and she died 3 years ago. I'm like, oh yeah, Iris was dead at this part of continuity. I need to remember all this shit.
Yeah.
Everyone's always died and came back. Even Iris, she's not even a speedster.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Flash.
Yep, pretty much.
And that's why I love it. It's always been one of my favorite neck of the DC universes. So and so seeing all this, I got to that last page and I legit fist pumped.
Oh yeah,
holy crap!
Zoom's suit looks so freaking good because they've not added all the speed lines that the Barry suits had since New 52. I like it a lot.
Very, very of the Zoom era, like Blitz and whatnot, down to his goggles with the red pupils.
Yeah, with the big black triangles. Yeah.
So, man, so excited where this goes.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
It's a great issue.
It's hitting all the things we've been excited about them getting to, and it feels like it's genuinely... It fits so well. It feels like it is just this continuation of Johns' classic Flash stuff. It feels like the sequel run to it, and that's super exciting. So, ratings. Ratings.
He's remembered this time.
Yes. Matt, go for it.
This is a 9.5. It would have been a 10, but there's some wonky art out of Porter in some of the panels.
This is scary how much we're lining up, because I was basically going to say the same thing. 9.5, but just, the art is pretty good, but just here or there's the odd face that's just not quite working.
Yeah, there's some of Iris that she looks cavewoman-esque.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ooh, buddy.
I do like when she jumps out in the motorbike, though, and, crashes into Commander Cold.
I also love how she talks about why she knows how to fix them for covering the Markovian Civil War.
And I like that sequence as well, where it focuses in on all the mechanical parts as it's going through it.
Yeah. And that's the classic West thing, is that the mechanics, because obviously.
Yeah, but I just the way it is in the art, the way it highlights in the boxes as we go through.
So, I agree. 9.5. I also was in love with this issue.
I've given it an 8, straight 8.
Of course.
I think it's great.
Cara's much stricter than we are, apparently. I can't wait. I can't wait till he's raving about something and we're like, oh, it's like a 7.
Well, that's fine. Just for context, I mean, like a 7 is okay, that's good. An 8 is great. 9's like amazing.
Yeah, this just when I first got back into comics, it was 2 books primarily. It was the Flash and Teen Titans, and Superman, Batman also as well. So those are always my go-to, like deep down, like favorite runs. So the fact that this is referring so much to that, and it's playing with Wally in a fun way, where I'm kind of rooting against him because he's acting like a jerk.
But at the same time, you understand why. You understand his motivation. If he's going to learn about his kids and he wants them back, like, of course he wants to do everything he can to it.
I'd much rather have his problems be time seizures than a bad heart.
Oh yeah,
because
we've neatly forgotten about that.
We did. So, and I'm okay with that.
Neatly.
But yeah, I just
So. It doesn't sound like from the solicits that Wally's still in the main Flash book come August, but that's okay, because either he's going to be in his own book that's spinning out of it, or we know that Tom King's writing one of the Fallout things from this, so he could end up in Sanctuary before we get to whatever the follow-up of him, within Flash terms are later on. So, either way, I don't think Wally's been forgotten after this. I don't think anyone has to worry about that, is what I'm saying.